Hey there. Over the past few weeks, one of my least favorite genres of reporting about Turkey has started cropping up again. Turkey is now, once again, apparently turning to the east because of some proposed purchases of anti-aircraft weaponry from Russia. Turkey is certainly having a particularly difficult time with its Western allies at the moment, and I think that this flirting with Russia is a pretty typical part of that tension. But some people claim that this could be the start of a permanent shift towards Russia, or even that Turkey's alliance with NATO is in serious danger. That doesn't make much sense to me. I think people are mistaking short-term jockeying for position for a long-term change. Turkey and Russia will never be allies in any serious sense. I'm generally pretty suspicious of the idea that countries stick to strategic goals over the course of centuries, but to the extent that Russian history has a goal, it is sticking it to the Turks. Russia's medieval beginnings can be found in the liberation from and then the destruction of Muslim Turkic Khanates. Russia's search for a warm water port has always driven it south into traditionally Turkish territory. Russia's czars saw themselves as the successors to the Byzantine emperors that once ruled in Istanbul, the capital of modern Turkey. They wanted that capital for themselves. This was about the religion that the Russians shared with the Greeks and Slav subjects of the Ottoman Empire, but it was also about ideas of national greatness that appealed to the Soviet communists just as much as they did to the Russian Orthodox Tsars. For hundreds of years, Ottoman Turkey desperately looked for allies to save them. The Russians took some land for themselves, but also fought to establish independent countries they could more easily control. By the time the modern Turkish Republic was founded, a significant slice of the population was made up of refugees from Russian aggression. After World War II, Turkey finally got its wish with the NATO alliance, which came about after some fairly direct threats from Stalin. With the end of the Cold War, Turkey got another gift, a historically weak and humbled Russia. Things have improved a bit for Russia since the 1990s, but the country is still less threatening to Turkey than it has been at any point since the 1700s. And that's what these rumors of an alliance come out of: historically unprecedented Russian weakness. Turkey can now use the threat of friendship with Russia as a prop in its much more important negotiations with Germany and the United States. But it has zero interest in helping Russia regain real power. Because when Russia has real power, it uses it against Turkey. Even at this low point, Russia still has real influence in Turkey's direct neighborhood. Syria and Armenia, two neighboring countries with very serious resentments against Turkey, are largely propped up by Russia. In Syria in particular, Russian and Turkish proxies are actively trying to kill each other right now. Turkey may very well buy a Russian weapons system or two to freak out the West, but the two countries will never be allies. Turkey's long-term goal in the region, weaken Russia, is perfectly aligned with the West, and it will be for decades to come. What we're seeing recently is theater. Turkey's flirting with Russia is blown out of proportion by Washington, D.C. warmongers who see anything short of complete subservience as a threat. Let's not encourage that sort of thing. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And if you want to make sure you don't miss a video, you can follow me on Twitter, or you can sign up for my email list, which is available at a link somewhere around here. Thanks.